Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide. Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
What's a Blerd? That's a black guy who's also a nerd. Reading comics, watching anime. Haven't you heard? It's Jeremy J and Miriam talking to Delirium. Naruto, then Marvel, then DC. Are you hearing him? Pop culture reverends pull them out periodically. We sing of movies with the comics canonically, and we watch a lot of TV. It's our virtual reality. I guarantee one day we'll have a TV show on NBC.
Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide. Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
It's the Blerd Survival Guide. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers.
There we go.
Get your seat. The combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
Gosh, that's a great theme song.
I wonder who wrote it.
Some guy.
Some iconic male.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Blerd Survival Guide. It is episode 18. We're getting close to number 20.
The big 20.
Yeah, we're an actual adult. That's
Teenage land.
Yeah. How you doing today, Jay?
I'm great, man. It's been a long weekend. Happy belated 4th of July to you.
Indeed, it is.
And to our listeners.
Yeah, happy 245th birthday to America.
Good old America.
Yeah.
America.
F yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. No heckin' way.
How are you doing?
I'm awake.
Good.
Yeah.
Happy to have you awake.
Yeah. I got a new mattress topper, so it knocked me right out.
Man, I definitely spent the morning in bed, so don't feel bad.
Hey, nice.
Hey.
But we are here. It's actually because it was 4th of July on the day that we usually record. It is the next day for us, so it's technically Monday for those who can listen in the past. I don't know how you can do that, but still Tuesday for you guys that are going to listen to it as we release it. But today's episode, we are going into a one of our own little personal gems of ours. Actually, it is called the Hidden Gems episode.
Hidden Gems and Guilty Pleasures.
Yeah, so we're going to be giving you just a little look into our personal lives.
Yeah.
Like some things that we like to watch that may not be as popular as Loki or Demon Slayer or Naruto.
Or anything that's just like currently out that everybody is talking about in the popular culture on E-News, if you will, or whatever. Does E-News still exist?
I don't know.
I don't have cable.
Oh, okay.
Our producer says that E-News still exists.
Well, that's good to know. Well, you follow them, but does that mean that they still have a channel?
Well, they definitely have a platform, and I imagine that they still have some kind of channel.
I mean, the Keeping Up with the Kardashians has to premiere somewhere.
Oh, bless them. Not anymore. They ended the TV show.
They did end. That, after, what, 20 years? 20 seasons?
20 seasons.
Jesus.
I mean, my God.
Yeah. That's somebody's guilty pleasure.
You know what? It starts off with Paris Hilton there, and then we get Keeping Up the Kardashians. So Paris Hilton set the mold. I'm just saying.
She did. And
I don't know if it's a good mold, but it's a mold.
Some. I mean, that's definitely what a way to transition into some guilty pleasures, because that sure as hell was a guilty pleasure for a lot of people.
I mean, I definitely watched The Hills. That's not a guilty pleasure of mine growing, like now. It was growing up, and I didn't tell people that I watched The Hills. But
I know The Hills because of Family Guy.
I mean, Lauren Conrad. That episode with Lauren Conrad is hilarious.
When she's smarter than Brian, it's like, ooh.
I mean, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
Apparently, I mean,
I wouldn't doubt that she's smart in real life.
The Hills was a completely socially engineered TV show that what people were led to believe was entirely real, and then only to be revealed as entirely fictional. In the final episode, which is no secret to anybody that's watched it,
It just blew some people's minds.
Come on. Like, these people just in no way had to hate each other as much as the TV show made it seem.
I mean...
But I digress. Let us digress into, I guess, talking about some of our guilty pleasures. I mean, these are things that I think that we watch to feel comfort, that we watch to on a rainy day when there's nothing else to do and you don't really want to expend any brain power to digest and indulge in like anything new.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I was just about to ask you, like, how would you define guilty pleasures? But I think you just defined it perfectly. It's just an easy watch of a show and or movie. I mean, something that you don't necessarily have to watch with friends or anything. You just kind of like sit back, relax. You don't. Sometimes you've watched it so many times, so you can just be on your phone and have it in the background.
Like you can just kind of be with this program or this entertainment thing,
right?
Be it a musical, be it a movie, be it a TV show,
right? Because I mean, sometimes guilty pleasures are things that like you do. It's called a guilty pleasure for a reason. It's something that you like specifically, but if you were to share it among friends or people that you think would like to share it, they probably would chastise you for it. I'm not saying that y'all chastise me for anything.
No, I hear you. I completely hear you, and I think there's two kinds of guilty pleasures.
Right.
I think that there's like that kind of guilty pleasure, and then there's just like that TV show like Friends or Parks and Rec or The Office, like America's guilty pleasure, a Modern Family that people can just like binge unendingly,
and have no thoughts going in through it while they're watching.
And they're just it's pure enjoyment every single time because like you either are familiar with the characters, like these characters at this point might be just like it's intertwined within your life as you and me may be in our lives.
It become part of your family.
Exactly. I mean, I feel this way about Parks and Rec to get us started.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
So that's like my number one of all time guilty pleasures. I hated when they took it off Netflix. I hated that I needed to get Paramount Plus to watch it.
Is it on Paramount Plus?
It's on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
That's
I thought it was going to be on Peacock. I was like,
no, wait. Is it on Peacock or is it on Paramount Plus, Miriam?
Peacock.
Oh, it's on
Peacock.
Peacock.
I'm not getting Peacock. I'm sorry. I tried.
No, it's probably one of the lesser streaming services.
Exactly.
at least in like how they program it. But But yeah, I mean that's my number one like of all time. I mean purely because I feel like I have a full relationship with Leslie Knope, Ron Swanson, Ben, Aziz Ansari's character, Tom. I mean just all of these people because I've watched the show so many times in sequence and out of sequence, just like going to episodes that I love. Episodes that made me cry, episodes that like really just get you in your feels when you want them to, but also just if you need that happy, cheery episode, you know which one to go to.
Exactly, and I would have to oppose you on Parks and Rec because I mean I love Parks and Rec. It was great show. I watched it beginning to end.
Right.
I did enjoy it.
Right.
But I also enjoyed The Office.
That fits your humor, though.
Exactly. I have a very dry humor, and I get that from The Office, and I get that from my mom. And I think she would enjoy The Office, but she doesn't really watch comedies like that.
The what's it called? The mockumentary style.
Right.
TV shows. See, I was like your mom for so long on mockumentary style TV shows, so I was like, I'm not about it. I'm not here to watch it. I don't like the filming of it. I hated the loose camera. I was like, this is not any way that I want to watch something that's supposed to be professionally made. And then Parks and Rec happened.
And I was gonna say they're doing that on Parks and Rec, and I'm like, well, it works.
It does.
I mean, it works.
I mean, The Office did it first, right?
They did, because they premiered. I mean, it was the UK version first, and then 2005, Mike Schur, the showrunner for both Parks and Rec and The Office, ran both those shows almost 20 plus years. He also did The Good Place.
Fantastic TV show.
I mean, like those are all just like guilt-free guilty pleasures, honestly. Like anybody can watch them and still feel good about it.
They're just easy binges, man. Easy binges.
Right, but we can talk about those three shows.
Give me some more of your guilty pleasures.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of want to transition to. We just wanted to probably go back and forth, talk about our own personal guilty pleasures other than NBC. But one that I have mentioned on here on the podcast before, and I still want you to watch, Jay, and is the SpongeBob SquarePants musical.
I've listened to it with you some.
You have. You listen to some of the songs. I mean, some of the more popular songs because the writers of the music are actual like pop stars.
Okay.
That'll make the
Yeah,
songs.
so it's like who
T.I. made us like he made the song for Plankton. It's
right.
a rap song. And
Okay.
you can tell who made some of these songs.
Oh, that's cool.
Because like with T.I. song, you know how T.I. used to have like the trumpets and stuff for like
Sure.
In a lot of his songs, you can hear that in that rap song. Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco, he did SpongeBob's Ballad. And it's emotional. Like he actually sang it with the guy who
I can
plays
only imagine
SpongeBob.
like the conversations that the producers of the SpongeBob musical are having with like these, I guess maybe the agents of these stars or whoever, or just the stars like. Just the conversation's like so
right.
So you like SpongeBob, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's like
How about
I'm
a musical about SpongeBob?
Yeah, do you want to write a song for it?
I mean, come on.
I mean, it's gotten to the like. I mean,
what is
SpongeBob
the pitch for this?
Well, I mean, SpongeBob has gotten to the popularity where it has gotten to these celebrities. And celebrities are watching it either by themselves or with their kids at this point because it's been on for so long.
Big facts.
I mean, it's even got to the point. Literally, one of the songs on there is called "Super Sea Star Savior." It's a gospel song. Guess who wrote it? Patti LaBelle.
What?
Exactly. Patti LaBelle wrote that song. Like I said, this started because I think John Legend wrote a song.
Patty's Pies.
Yeah. John Legend wrote a song for it. Cyndi Lauper wrote a couple songs for it.
So where did the musical perform?
It started off in Chicago, and then it actually did make it to Broadway.
It did make it to New York Broadway?
Yeah, it did. Because in New York City. I think it was there for about a year. Did their yearly contract, and I think it ended after that. And then Nickelodeon, because Viacom has all the power and everything, they did have a special which I bought it's on Amazon.
So the only place I can watch this
is on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
But we can watch it because you have it.
Yeah, because I bought it.
Because you bought it.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my first one, and like I said, I do want people.
I think
to
that
watch
people should.
It's a great story
people to watch it because, like, I think that when you showed me the Shrek musical,
right,
which
also a great musical that everyone needs to watch.
I don't know if you've checked it out, but like, there's a Shrek musical on Netflix.
It's a permanent fixture on Netflix. It's not going away anytime soon.
It is something that I think everybody that enjoys the original Shrek should watch because it grows that story and makes it funny, and it's still like it's just as good, if not better, than the original story because you have more depth to the Shrek character.
Right.
But I digress. I'm going to go with like a whole other direction on hidden like guilty pleasures of mine, which I think that a lot of people may not be surprised by these.
Which got?
I love what I have dubbed as canaflicks.
Now, how would you describe canaflicks?
I love films that center around weed-based hijinks. So thinking about Harold and Kumar, thinking about Friday, thinking about How High and Pineapple Express. Like these Seth Rogen films, these Taj, what's his last name?
I know you're talking about, but the Harold and Kumar
Kumar films, and like Mac and Dev Go to High School, which is Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg's weed-based film. Which I mean, Cheech and Chong, like all of these funny, hilarious comedians and actors that partake, as it were, have a weed comedy, and I always just like get into them because I think that they take this narrative. A lot of the time, they take a narrative of the.
It could be something that like so simple though. Like,
Harold and Kumar raced to White Castle.
Right,
man.
it's literally
Family Guy talks about it in the funniest way. He's like, took me 5 minutes to go get some White Castle because I didn't do drugs. But like,
look at me, I'm just sitting here having 3 or 4 burgers,
enjoying them.
Didn't take me a whole 3-hour
a whole
movie.
night in order to get these White Castle burgers, but. I just find them hilarious. I think that they're immature. I mean, they're kind of like up there in that kind of class of like the original American Pie movies. Like they take these party themes and they manage to drive a whole narrative out of them that is often just hijink after hijink, and it keeps leveling up in the seriousness and the severity that they're of an intense situation that they're going through, and I don't know, it makes me laugh and I enjoy them, especially when I'm just like chilling out and I don't want to have to worry about any kind of
serious plot line like Tenet. For a
boy.
complete juxtaposition. If you haven't seen Tenet, check it out. But also, it's a complete opposite type of film structure.
You're very correct, and I mean it only makes sense that like these stoner films, and as like Jay calls them, and I will start using that term that he has coined, canaflicks. As just watching those are essentially mind-numbingly good times.
Exactly, it's just like a zone out time.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to like know the plot. Just
not at all, dude.
Not
like at all.
It's literally these basic premise is what if we do X amount of things, but high.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, how high is let's go take a college admittance exam high because you studied high and you want to get high scores. And then what do but smoke this weed, and their friend who died that the guy grew it in comes to them with all the answers to the test, and they end up into Harvard.
They end up in one of the smartest schools in the country, and it's like,
wow. This movie stars Redman and Method Man, which if you're a fan of 90s hip-hop, you should definitely have watched this movie.
Or if you're a fan of Pixies from Fairly Odd Parents.
you should watch this movie. I mean, it's a ridiculous film, but I think it's hilarious. And, I mean, there's always some kind of, like, social commentary attached to them.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you gotta ingrain that into the people.
And like, destigmatizes weed, and destigmatizes cannabis, and, like, the potential recreational and medicinal uses.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. I do like that. But the canaflicks, I'm gonna stick that in my brain because I like
canaflicks.
I like that word.
Thank you. I'm proud of it.
Coined by Jay Williams himself. My next one would probably be Fantasia 2000.
Wonderful film. It's crazy. I mean, it's like a giant. I mean, so like, have you seen the new thing on Disney Plus? It's like it's like those ambiance short films.
Oh yeah. Oh, where it's almost like it's like a picture and like you hear the music underneath.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
It's kind of like maybe like in a Mulan setting. It's got like a Moana setting, and all these different locations.
Right. And they just had like the Raya and the Last Dragon setting. Yeah,
I think Fantasia set the stage for that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Fantasia 2000. Of course, that one came out it was made in like 1999 and it came out in 2000. But I mean, the original Fantasia, even though I had the VHS, it came out in like early 30s, or not early 30s, like late 30s, early 40s.
Really?
Like that. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, those the sections in those in that movie, yeah, it did come out in 1940. Yeah, essentially, it was just. I mean, it's Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 are. It's just an amalgamation of orchestra music.
Beautiful,
and they set it to different cartoon pieces. Mm-hmm. In Fantasia 2000 specifically, one of my favorite guilty pleasures in that movie is the Rhapsody in Blue section by George Gershwin. I'm a major jazz head,
and you're a big Gershwin fan too.
I mean, that's the only song I know about Gershwin, but yeah,
I think that you like. I would know movies, right?
No, he's a jazz orchestrator, conductor, one of them.
Composer.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. But that specific Rhapsody in Blue, I think that just kind of solidified my love of jazz. Not only because, but with Disney, what they did for that specific scene, it's just 12 minutes of people getting ready and going through their workday, and it like the music helps accent that, and it was just beautiful how it's like animated. It's because there's this one guy who's a construction worker, but turns out like he's a construction worker in the daytime, but at nighttime he's a jazz player. Like he plays drums at a jazz club, and I think that's probably what set the stone for set the mold for soul.
I hear you.
It works so well as a piece, and like I said, it's just a solid 12 to 15 minutes of music
section,
and it's literally no dialogue in any of these.
No.
In any of these, but like the dialogue is the music, and it warms my heart when I see it every time.
There's this new Disney short film.
Us Again, I already know. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times. Oh my God, I love it.
It is to die for.
I
and
love
if
it.
folks
I was
going to
ask if you've seen it.
Miriam and I watched it on a whim. And, I mean, wasn't ready for it. I cried. I mean, like, I'm sitting here like, how the heck does this... Like, I mean, it was basically a silent movie with the added orchestra or like over it. And I'm just sitting here like, just feeling all of these feelings, like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like voice cracking and everything. And I think Fantasia was an early iteration of something like that, because like,
Oh yeah,
they
definitely.
they took the power of orchestral music and animation and combined them, and I'm sure there's plenty of like narrative breakdowns of like what it actually was trying to elicit, but just the ability for these things to elicit feeling and emotion without the use of words or language,
It's
to
beautiful.
me is, I mean, it's everything that animation is about,
Yes.
to be honest with you, because
Yes.
like I think that I've talked about this before. Animation is one of those things that's able to tell a story or get a message across,
Right.
without having to specifically identify what we're talking about, or just come out with it. It can allude, and it can, build a metaphor around the message that it's trying to get across, that you just can't get when you use real people.
Right. It just.
And I mean, Fantasia just does this in like the most beautiful way, because
Right. I mean,
it
it's
takes
an hour and a half of just music and
in animation.
Yeah,
and it's gorgeous
great.
because it's the original kind of it. It's 2D, right? Like these
Right.
are hand drawn
Oh, yeah,
images.
these are all
It's not.
hand-drawn, yeah.
This is not like CGI anymore. Which I'm not saying that if they did it now, the CGI would take away from it, because I mean we've seen some gorgeous CGI, right?
Love, Death and Robots.
I mean, it could very well, maybe even take it to another level.
Definitely.
Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of want it. But like, for real, seeing it in the way that it was done in Fantasia 2000, and knowing the amount of work and heart and effort that goes into that kind of animation,
Right.
it's just it warms me, man. I think that a lot of people sleep on Fantasia 2000.
Yeah. No, definitely, guys. You should check it out. Jay, what you got next for us, though?
So, taking it in another direction, and you know this about me.
I do.
I'm a weeb, and I'm a self-proclaimed weeb, but before I was a weeb, I was a jock.
You were.
Like,
This man was
I loved
all-state kicker in high school.
Yeah,
Look at
I
him.
played college sports, like did track and field, did football, like I did all these things, and so
Did the darn thing.
what I love to watch are sports dramas, and I think that a lot of people maybe will be able to resonate with this because, maybe they were a late blooming weeb like myself.
Okay.
So I loved watching Coach Carter, which is with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I loved watching Gridiron Gang, which, is an early rock film.
It is. Yeah.
It's,
I
a,
thought about
very,
that.
it's
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
early rock film.
He still had hair. He was skinny.
I mean, and of course, the original one that I think that a lot of people just get into because it is Disney and because it has this powerful message about racism and segregation. Remember the Titans.
Boy. Like all three of those movies are just like they are staples in the black community,
Without a doubt.
And
Without a doubt.
even if you haven't seen it, because I myself haven't seen Gridiron Gang, but I mean we like in summer camps growing up, we would watch Coach, like I've seen Coach Carter one year,
Right.
and I've seen him a couple times, and I've also seen Remember the Titans multiple times.
Right.
It's actually one of my little sister's favorite movies. Like,
I mean,
she
it's got
cannot
one of the-
stop watching it.
I mean, it's got one of the best soundtracks to it. It's got one of the,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the music of the '60s, right? Like you've got the Temptations are iconic in this movie, right? Without because you see that the Temptations pull together
this whole team.
the whole team, but it starts with two people. It starts with the big white guy and Rev. Rev. I'm trying to remember the. I can't think of the name of the actor that plays him, but he does not look the same anymore. If you've checked him out,
Hey, he buff.
yeah, he's swole. He's super swole. I was just looking up his episode on the podcast with Joe Rogan. Actually,
There's Craig Kirkwood who played Rev, and then Ethan Suplee.
Ethan Suplee.
Yeah, he was in Boy Meets World as one of the bullies. He was also in My Name is Earl
in American History X.
Yeah,
he has so much range and talent on screen. To me, it just is so powerful. But yeah, I think so. These are just films, though, for me that I can watch on repeat, and I've been so happy that I've gotten to show Miriam these films because she didn't grow up on these films at all. She actually has said that she actively avoided sports films, which is fine, and I completely and I don't blame her one bit because that's not you get it.
I get it.
You get it.
Yeah.
It's not something that she thought she would resonate with. But I'm like, baby, it's not about the sport. It's about the team. It becomes about the team. Yeah. And that's why we've been able to enjoy the reboot of Mighty Ducks Game Changers on Disney Plus. Which, if folks haven't watched that, if you are a big fan of sports films, check it out. It also stars Lorelai Gilmore, Lauren Graham. So for if you have a girlfriend that is not interested in it, just tell her that Lauren Graham stars in it, and I guarantee you that she'd be willing to watch it with you.
Nice. And we, like I said, we're slowly becoming free sponsors for Disney Plus. We just need to contact them and be like, hey.
Boy, I know, right? Like, I'm not. They're not, but I think it's worth it.
It'd be chop change. What you mean?
I mean, like, give me a couple hundred.
Like I said, it'd be chop change for them.
On the low. For me to fund my. I think they could
fund the podcast.
I think they could fund our contour so we could go and talk to people at Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just gonna speed through these next three. Because I do love these movies. I watch them a lot. As these are my guilty pleasures still. I need to go back and rewatch them because I haven't seen them in a hot minute. Next one, also on Disney Plus. LOL. Mr. Holland's Opus. It is a
classic film.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic Disney film. Had to look up the synopsis for it real quick just to give you guys on podcast
do it justice.
Yeah. Composer Glenn Holland, played by Richard Dreyfuss of Jaws fame, believes that he'll eventually write a transcendent piece of music, but in the meantime, he's taking a job at an Oregon high school. Though at first the job frustrates him, and his unconventional methods often draw the ire of the straight-laced vice principal, Mr. Holland grows to love his students as the temporary position stretches into decades-long career. Because and I remember that. He wants to be a famous composer.
Sure.
And he's taking the steps. He's like, I need money, so I'm going to be this teacher just for a couple years. At most a year.
Completely logical for someone in his position.
Yeah, right? He's thinking at most a year I'm going to be
a teacher.
A teacher. And turns out, wow, I really love these students. And it turned from 1 year, and that year started in like 1970. And it's like you can see it spanned, like they did a whole montage. It ended in like 1995.
How great would it have been to have been a music teacher in the 70s? All I can think about is Recess, maybe.
I would say, Let the Sun Shine.
Let the sun shine.
That movie, oh my God. Whoever was the music supervisor for that movie was just like, we're going to make it 70s.
Yo, have you watched Summer of Soul yet?
Not yet.
Bro!
I will see. I will watch it. Yeah.
Oh my God. I watched it this morning. Takes place in 1969.
Yeah.
It was the same time as Woodstock was happening.
Yeah.
And it was in Harlem. Bro, it was. Oh my gosh!
That's Questlove's first directorial movie.
Well, it was the fact that the film of this music festival sat in someone's basement for 50 years and never was seen until now is just like the coolest thing in the world to me.
Oh wow!
I mean, we've seen all these videos and film of Woodstock, but now we got this. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Digressing, and that's for the culture anyway. So everybody should check it out. It's on Hulu if you've got it.
Save for the weekly blurb.
No, that's that.
All right. Let me get back on track. Next one is Romeo and Juliet, the 1996 version, directed by Baz Luhrmann of Great Gatsby. Yeah, the same guy who directed Great Gatsby.
Moulin Rouge.
Leo DiCaprio, Romeo, Claire Danes, Juliet.
Beautiful.
Great, and I mean,
beautiful people.
Baz Luhrmann's used some color in that movie. The way that he was able to he basically was like, "Hey, we're gonna put Romeo and Juliet in today, but we're gonna still talk like it's Shakespeare."
Yeah, it's done in iambic pentameter, right?
Yep, it's it's word for word the play. William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, word for word. But you're watching it, and it's like
not word for word.
Well, yeah. 80% word for word.
I hear you. I hear what
but
you're.
I mean,
I'm
like,
picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
And for some reason,
It's like
Leonardo
you're
didn't get a Oscar for that one
I mean,
either.
shit, that's one of his earlier films. But
He
still, like,
I'm just saying.
yeah,
Titanic.
we ain't gonna talk about Titanic.
Jack.
She had room. There was room in that door.
That's a big fact.
All right. my last guilty pleasure.
All right.
The Back to the Future trilogy.
It's iconic.
It is iconic. It set the look at us setting molds in this podcast because we're just setting all the molds in this podcast today. But it set the mold for time travel. Time travel in movies.
It set the mold for the original time travel rules, and then Avengers broke it. And
It did. And I mean that's literally just saying Avengers was saying, hey, rules are meant to be broken. Because they even referenced it in Endgame. It was just like, hey, this isn't Back to the Future. Back to the Future is a bunch of lies. This is how time actually works. I was like, hey, I love you, Marvel, but don't disrespect my movie like that ever again.
I mean, right.
Because I mean, I fell in love with in that movie. I fell in love with DeLoreans. I fell in love with Christopher Lloyd. That's a Doc. I fell in love with Michael J. Fox.
You know, at that point, I did not know that Christopher Lloyd was the same actor in
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, man.
Freaked me out too when I got old. I was like,
that was just like a weird realization.
He's a cartoon man.
I mean, Christopher Lloyd's been doing this game for a long time.
Like Christopher Lloyd, like he's
long time.
Doc Brown. He's the evil cartoon man in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He's Uncle Festus in the live action.
Sure is.
Addams Family. It's like good Lord, man.
Twice.
Yeah, in both of
Twice.
them. Like, dude had. We talk about range. This dude no range. But those are my guilty pleasures. Jay, if you want to speed through your last couple.
I've heard most of them, but I do want to cover a few in a vein similar to how I've been going. I'm all over the place, everybody, just so you know, with my guilty pleasures, because I love The Notebook. I adore The Notebook. It is a wonderful story. I'm a hopeless romantic. So, like, any rom-coms, The Notebook, all of those kinds of films, love 50 First Dates, love Charlie St. Cloud, love the Titanic. I'm just saying.
So what you're telling me is you like to cry.
I like to feel the love. I'm a loving man, and this is just where I'm also a hopeless romantic.
So would you put Lion King up there?
I mean, that's a different kind. No, I would not put it with The Notebook and all of these other films. These are like those upgraded Turner Classic Movie / Hallmark films that my grandmother loved. It's just like on another level to me.
Okay.
And it's not as corny as Hallmark makes them out around Christmas time, but I mean, they're still pretty dang corny.
And, to kind of go off topic, you know they start filming all of those Christmas movies on Hallmark like last month. Like every Christmas movie that you see on Hallmark, all the new ones
filmed in that year.
They're filmed, yeah, they basically are, and it's like a solid 50 to 75 Christmas movies. They start filming in
Somebody
like
should do a
April or
documentary
May
on Hallmark Christmas
of that
movies.
year, and like it'll premiere in. Because I mean they're all essentially the same movie, and
I mean they cut and paste the plot lines for most of these movies. You know,
rich white girl is coming from the big city, loses a tire, falls in love with small town city boy.
Yep.
Christmas ensues. The end.
You can't include exclude the part where she's disappointed by him and then has to become comfortable with who he is as a person.
That's all part of the Christmas ensued part.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying that's just always in there too.
Those are the specifics. I mean, that's some guilty pleasures for a lot of people.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. But we can go on and on.
We can go on and on, and we might in Weekly Blerd maybe.
Maybe we'll think about it because we've got some hidden gems that I think we want to share with y'all. Because obviously a lot of these guilty pleasures people have probably seen, but just so you know that they're out there and you're not alone. So.
Right. But we will take a quick break. You're going to hear a word from our sponsor, Anchor, and then we will be right back with the Weekly Blerd. See you in a second, guys.
Hey guys, it's Jeremy here to talk to you about Anchor, the free podcast tool that you all need. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, like I said, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer or your phone. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So guys, go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm on your computer to get started.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
Rick and Morty.
Okay. Well, you guys, you know what time it is. It's time for the
Weekly Blurb. And Jeremy, you're going to lead us in with your featured Loki talk. And go.
Loki Talk, episode 4. What a we thought last week was a humdinger.
Man, episode 4 has been my favorite episode so far. There's
I
just
love
no
it,
doubt
man.
about it.
And as always, it's Tuesday when Blerd Survival Guide comes out, so that means Loki comes out the next day. You have had ample time to watch this episode, therefore there's going to be heavy spoilers ahead. Loki episode 4, short synopsis of what happened. We are at the tail end of Lamentus 1. They are about to both Loki and Sylvie are looking at each other and are about to die. They are accepting the fate, and they are actually coming to the conclusion, and it may be theorized that they were just finally looking at themselves as the heroes and seeing the good in themselves, and that actually is what caused the Nexus.
The Nexus
Yes.
event. So,
And
you,
I think-
so you said it's them what?
It's them actually seeing the good in themselves because apparently, according to the TVA, Lokis are supposed to be inherently bad. There's no redeeming qualities about them, and there can only be one. And that's why Sylvie was supposed to be deleted, because the only one was supposed to be our Loki from 2012 until he effed up and did his whole thing.
So is that a theory, or is that like what it is?
So that is a working theory because I've seen it on a bunch of TikToks and I've read up on some stuff.
Okay.
But they, like I said, because of this Nexus event, and this is still the little synopsis, the TVA do find them because of that Nexus point and are taken back. They're being interrogated in separate rooms. We see Lady Sif make a cameo.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, she comes back. And she's actually one of the few actresses who's able to, she's bounced through the TV shows and the movies, because she did the first couple Thor movies. She made an appearance on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think one of the earlier seasons. And I mean, it was just dope to see.
Yeah, it was. It was.
It was like, hey, she came back. It was like, cool, Lady Sif. So she came back as basically a worst memory loop, time
torture loop.
Yeah. And that was funny until it kind of didn't, and
it broke that man.
Yeah, it will break anybody.
Morbius.
You get kneed in the nuts.
Morbius. I can find
Morbius. Yeah, that's the vampire from Marvel.
Mobius definitely knows this man's existence and how to break him down.
Oh yeah, it's Mobius. Loki is Mobius's niche. He knows that man through and through.
Oh my gosh! In every iteration, just about right. Which we kind of get to at the end.
Right, and that's the other thing. We find out that when Sylvie is enchanting people, right now it's just the time variant, the time cops and the hunters. We find out that she's not creating fake memories for them to live in and tell all the secrets. It's actually previous memories of these. They're all time variants that have been brainwashed into thinking that they were created by the TVA, by the timekeepers, and a little Wizard of Oz trope.
So how shocking was that to you? Speaking of the Wizard of Oz, were you shocked?
When I saw it at first, I was like, she chopped the head off, and we saw that. I know Thor.
It can't be the end of the movie or the TV series.
I know Thanos said you should have gone for the head, but she did. She did.
And then evidently it's all just one animatronic.
The timekeepers aren't real.
I'm just saying.
Which means
I think they're real, but that's just not them.
No, I think they were real at one point.
Oh,
and are no longer. And I think that they aren't the ones who created the TVA. I think the timekeeper. I think the real quote unquote timekeeper is Miss Minutes. And the whole we did talk about this. It's a off podcast, but I think she it's almost like an Age of Ultron situation, just more highly advanced because it is outside of space and time.
Right.
She is almost like an AI program that was able to actually succeed in their plan.
Okay.
And she was able to create this time variance authority to rectify that there shouldn't be a multiverse. There should only be one sacred timeline. And I guess that one sacred timeline is the one that she lives in and she controls.
Which seems to be garbage because we get that quote in the 4th episode that chaos is the universe wanting to break free, or it's the 3rd episode.
I think it's the 3rd episode when they're on the train.
Chaos is the universe wanting to break free. So that kind of alludes to this idea that the universe isn't supposed to be in this sacred timeline,
right? Or there shouldn't be one sacred timeline at all. We're supposed to be in the multiverse, but because whoever the real creator of the Time Variance Authority is, because they wanted, maybe Miss Minutes, maybe because
I don't even know who else it could be,
because we know it's not Ravenna Ravenclaw. The judge that's played by Gugu and Bathara.
Maybe it could be who's the villain in Quantumania?
Kang the Conqueror. He's a time, and that's a Marvel deep cut for those who don't know who he is yet. Kang the Conqueror he's another Avengers level threat, quoting Spider-Man Far From Home. He's another Avengers level threat. He is on the same level as Thanos, probably
Ego, maybe.
Yeah, but he's essentially. He is, I would say, an actual timekeeper.
Right. Because he exists in the quantum realm.
Right. This is going to be, that's why they're going into this whole quantum weird 4th phase of Marvel. It was because we're going to be dealing with like time travel. We're dealing with a lot more time travel and a bunch of the weird stuff. And Kang the Conqueror is basically a villain who manipulates time and space, and that's what Quantumania is going to be about. We're going to meet him for the first time, almost like how we met Thanos. Probably how we met Thanos for the first time, just probably in the post-credits scene.
In Ragnarok? No,
it was
in second Avengers. That's when we get.
No, it was the first Avengers because it was
yeah, because yeah. But that's before the recast, actually.
Right, it was before the recast because Thanos. Those who didn't know, Thanos was actually played by a black man at first. And another Marvel not canon thing, but another kind of like it's weird offhand kind of deal. The guy who played Thanos in Avengers, not Josh Brolin, but the black guy who played him was actually one of the stuntman henchmen in Captain America: Civil War.
Crazy. Crazy.
And it's like you could tell by the chin kind of that it's the same guy. It was kind of dope because it's like, wow, I can actually see his face. But yeah, other than everything that happened in Loki episode 4, and we didn't even touch on the fact that Mobius got pruned, which made me tear up, but also Loki got pruned, and we're thinking that when you're pruned,
as soon as I saw Owen Wilson's character Mobius get pruned, I was like, they ain't dead.
That's because it was like, look, this is a high budget actor, you just can't kill him off like that.
You can't. Then it was but Disney would do it. You know, Disney would do it
because they got the money. but when Loki got pruned, I was like, nah, he can't. The show is called Loki. I understand that Sylvie is Loki, but like the show is called Loki.
Like, are we preparing for Sylvie to just be the sole Loki in this universe?
That's what a lot of people thought at first too. Is like because she technically is a Loki.
Sure is.
Are we replacing Tom Hiddleston with?
But we're not. Thank God.
We're not. Because I mean, if you guys waited for it, there was a post-credit scene this week. Loki
wakes up in this pruned universe.
Yes, so we don't know if it's like we don't know if it's called like Battle World, which I've seen on some things, or it could be a timeline, a pruned timeline where Ultron won, and that's why the Avengers Towers is destroyed and everything else is destroyed in the world, and Sokovia actually did destroy the world.
Fascinating.
So it could be either of those things. It could be a whole multitude of things, but we see other Lokis that have been pruned, and we
get
see
a classic comic book iteration of Loki.
And that's the classic Loki. We have boastful Loki, who's played by a black man. Awesome. We have Kid Loki, who literally all of these people are looking like their comic book counterparts. And Kid Loki, like he's going to be he's part of the Young Avengers. The way he looks on the screen is how he looks in the comics.
Comic book.
And then there's one that no one really knows about, but it's Alligator Loki. I like to call him Gator Loki because it's
Gator Loki.
Yeah, Gator Loki. He's my favorite. Even though we don't know if he's the one who actually talked or if it was the classic Loki.
The classic Loki.
Because you don't see who actually spoke, but you see those 4 Lokis, and it's like, huh.
It's like if you come with us, you'll be okay.
Right. But yeah, that's I did enjoy this episode a lot. One of my favorite quotes from it, because I just rewatched it, was Loki talking to Mobius, and it was just like, that's one more thing I got to tell you. It's like Moby said something along the lines of like, "Is it the fact that I lied about your girlfriend?" And Loki looked at him and was like, "No, it's the fact that you're lying to yourself." And I'm like, "Ooh." That hit me in the feels.
Yeah, he's talking about how impressed he was with the lies that he's able to tell himself,
right,
in order to remain a slave to the TVA,
right. And it just
which I don't know, man. I think that like that hit Mobius different because you see his face.
That's what made him go to like find out.
Do
like,
I need to really reconsider what my existence is?
Right, and that's when he stole the time pad and everything.
Odds are he was a Sea-Doo jet ski salesman, man. I've seen some pictures online of him.
Where like he's in a suit and he's on the jet ski.
Gold, pure comedy gold, man.
But yeah, that was my weekly blurb. I'm very excited for this week's episode, and we're going to see how these other Lokis interact with our Loki. I want to finally see. I've been looking at President Loki on all these promos. I'm ready to see President Loki because, I'm ready.
I want to see Lance Armstrong Loki.
I do want to see Lance Armstrong Loki. One Tesconoki.
Well, I appreciate you for telling us about Loki, as always. I think that like our viewers appreciate a synopsis of the previous episode going into the newest episode.
Yeah, and just our little thoughts.
I mean, it'll be fun to see. I like going back and listening to this part of the episode before the newest one because you always make fun predictions, and sometimes your predictions come true. So I want to know if your predictions are going to come true, and I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
For my weekly blurb, I'm happy to talk to y'all about some hidden gems that I think that if you have the means to watch it either by way of Netflix or Amazon Video, you should take some time to check them out. So I'm going to go through a quick list briefly and make some suggestions to you all if you have, based off of your particular fandom, if you will.
Right. And I have a quick list as well. And like I said, we can just both shoot these out.
Yeah. If you're a big fan of Maya Rudolph, which a lot of people are, and you haven't yet gotten to see her in Mitchell's versus the Machine.
Boy, I love that movie.
I mean, like, it recently came out. It's an animated film on Netflix that, I don't know, somehow manages to combine, like your favorite animated cartoons to some kind of, like, Will Smith, iRobot type story where these machines obviously take over the society and want to protect the humans. It's got the voice of Jay Bilzerian from Big Mouth in it. It's got the voice of
Danny McBride plays
Danny McBride plays the father. I mean, Abby from Abby Jacobson from Broad City plays the daughter in it. And dude, it's freaking hilarious. And if people haven't gotten a chance to check it out, I think that like all of these voice actors that people love, IRL voice acting, I think that they'll really enjoy them.
Right.
So that's that's one hidden gem that's come out recently. It was popular on Netflix for the first week, but it's definitely gone down. So it hasn't gotten this like continued viewership.
Let's get it back up, people.
Yeah.
I guess we'll bounce back and forth. I think one of mine that also came off Netflix just recently, and I watched it this morning. This is Monday morning for us. Wish Dragon. It came out earlier this year.
I'm gonna have to check this movie.
Yeah,
you were
it's
talking
another Sony animation.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So was Mitchell and Machines.
It was.
But they
beautifully done.
Yeah. And this movie literally has it's hilarious. It is strong within the Asian culture. It's amazing.
Okay.
I learned some things from it.
Oh, it's got some. Okay, cool.
It's not educational, but you learn some stuff.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
If you liked Aladdin, you'll like this movie.
Someone said that if your kids are having fun and learning, they don't know that they're learning.
Exactly. And I'm a kid at heart, and I was having fun while I was watching this.
Love that.
Literally, the writing was well done. The animation is amazing. I thought it was dubbed at first because the way they were talking, but it turns out it was
originally in English.
Okay. But guys, check it out. It's also on Netflix. Let's bump up these numbers. Bump up. We got to bump up those numbers.
So to follow that up, and a film that is a TV series that is on Amazon Prime Video. If you have if you have that available, I like to talk about this TV show called Utopia, which in a post-pandemic world, I think that it's a really interesting TV series. Yeah. And apparently it was originally a British TV series that Amazon picked up and rebooted. The TV series follows a ragtag group who is interested in this comic called Dystopia, is
because of its lore and how it allegedly goes back and looks at every civilization-ending pandemic and analyzes it for how it may have come about. And then there is this new comic that has been legend to exist called Utopia, which will predict the next civilization-ending pandemic. And man, I think it's really cool because like you have these nerds who basically have dissected the comic, and then you just have the folks who are just big hyper fans of the comic that don't really read too much into it, but like they'll cosplay or they'll meet up in groups and talk about the comic, like but not talk about it as in depth as these, I guess, megalomaniacs, if you will, and they end up on a journey with a character from the comic. And so you're kind of like, maybe it is real. Maybe what's been happening has some deeper meaning to it. Oh. And ultimately to, try and uncover the mystery that is present within the Utopia comic book. Right. So if folks like checking out conspiracy theory type stuff, are into comic books and are into some really cool action sequences, I think they should check out Utopia on Amazon Prime.
Okay, definitely. And you've told me about it before. We watched the first episode together a while back. I need to go ahead and...
We watched that at the same time as we were watching a lot of other first episodes of things.
Yeah, we were trying to find a show that we both agreed on and like. Right. And I'll watch it. I will soon, hopefully. One of these things on my list that is vastly popular within our generation and a lot of us who grew up with Disney, of course. A Goofy movie.
Fantastic film.
That's the thing. It's a hidden gem because a lot of people call it the official first black Disney film. Yeah. Because, you got the single dad Goofy, just wanted to go on a trip with his son to reconnect with his son Max. And it's literally just a
summer vacation.
Summer vacation of father and son bonding, getting to know each other better, getting to know...
Trials, tribulations, and reconciliations, and some beautiful... Tevin Campbell, R&B music, man.
And the power line is he needs to drop that album. We've been for that album for about 25 years now.
Boy, I swear to God, like I
don't break OSHA level of
delay, man. My gosh, Lauryn Hill coming out of the concert face
3 hours later. Yeah,
I'm saying.
But no, like I said, it's very popular among our generation as well as us growing up with Disney. But if you haven't seen it, get on it because. You can see so many TikToks, but if you don't watch the movie,
it doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do it justice. I mean, it's just got so many heartwarming moments. It's got some great bops. It comes in with like an amazing intro song that really sets the tone. Which, when I watched an extremely goofy movie, the sequel to this film,
it's not a musical.
It's not a musical, and I was honestly at the time upset about it. I love I love extreme sports, and so like I get that part to it, and I appreciate.
I did like the story though of the Extreme Goofy movie. I was like, oh, there's no music, but I guess
they're too cool to be a musical now that they're in college.
We have to grow up with
whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever. So another hidden gem that I'll rebut you with is a new TV series that is also on Amazon Video called Upload, which is a TV show produced by Greg Daniels. So we were talking earlier in the episode. We were talking about Parks and Rec and The Office. Greg Daniels also produced Upload. Yeah, and it takes place in the year 2033.
This is the one with Robbie Amell, right?
Yeah, Robbie
Stephen Amell's
cousin. Yeah, his character's name is Nathan, which I think is hilarious because his name is. I feel like Robbie Amell plays a Nathan in every single film that he's in.
He looks like a Nathan.
He does look like a Nathan, doesn't he? But it's a cool commentary on the afterlife because people have the opportunity, instead of just organically dying, uploading their consciousness to an online platform of existence, which, people have thought about that opportunity. If that was an option for them, would they do it? Like if you fear death, if you fear the afterlife, and you fear what may or may not exist,
going into the unknown,
being able to control that appeals to a lot of people. And so what happens is he is, in the first episode, killed mysteriously, and his girlfriend then uploads his consciousness to her family's plan.
Oh, wow. Oh.
So she basically decides for him to not die organically, essentially, and uploads his consciousness, and then he has to deal with the consequences of what happens.
Okay. Oh.
Which, I mean, if you know Greg Daniels, if you know the writing, it's very clever. It's super witty. It's very fast-moving. It's incredibly heartfelt at times, but also has those shallow moments that, just make for more heartfelt feelings later on in the show.
Okay.
So I think that you would really enjoy this character's development from the beginning to the end of the first season. I watched this with Miriam, and I think we watched it in less than a week.
Easy watch.
Very easy watch.
Nice. And we'll see you through because we're going way over time.
Yeah, we are. It's a longer episode.
Yeah. It's one of our longer ones, but it's okay. You guys like listening. I guess I'll just go through my last two because they're not one and the same, but I mean, it just kind of feel like it.
Sure.
Both really very meta TV shows, but also very funny.
Yes.
First one is on Cartoon Network. I believe it's on Hulu. Amazing World of Gumball.
The animation in that show just my favorite thing on television. I think at any given time.
The main characters are 2D, but you also have a CGI Tyrannosaurus Rex. But you also have a character who is a chin that's upside down in a dress. You have a ball of fur as a
Have
character.
You seen how they film
Yes,
that
it's
shit? He's literally talking upside down.
They had a cutaway where it's just like it was almost like them filming. It's like, huh? Where's going on? Why am I doing this? Like, it was so weird. Because they expedited in the TV show. It was almost like a Chowder level kind of like mid experience when they were like.
It's like sounds like Ed and Eddie when they broke the TV.
Yeah. But that, like I said, it's funny. It's equal parts funny as it is meta because they reference.
It's deep, bro. That show gets real deep, man.
Yeah.
There's that check your privilege episode that I always thinking about.
I was about to say, it's like, hey, Gumball, why don't you check your sandwich? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, why don't you check your privilege? It's like, oh.
Man, it's just a fun commentary on that whole movement to check someone's privilege, as well as, like, the moments when people actually do need to check their privilege.
It's like, oh, come on, guy. And then, the last one on my list is DC's Legends of Tomorrow on the CW.
Underrated.
It's very underrated as a TV show. They did kind of start off as like, we're going to be this big superhero group that's going to go through time and figure out these plots and everything. And it was
they settled into their identity.
They did, and they realized, hey, we're the goofy goofballs.
We're the funny group.
Yeah, and it works, and it's funny. They're on their 5th season right now, but like I said, if you go and watch from season 1 to now, you can see it go from we're going to be this group that's going to go through time and save the world and save the timeline and to, hey, we're just guys on a time ship and we're going to go through time and just kind of F around.
It was kind of like after the second crossover
that
they realized their identity.
Like, do we have to be serious? And the producers was like, nah. Just go for it. We got you from here. We'll get the special effects team.
My Aunt Carolyn loves that show.
It's funny. Like it's for all ages, honestly.
I think so.
It's very
what's the word? Progressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very progressive because you have the captain and her now fiance.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, they don't treat it as we're going to scream at you our agenda. They treat it as we're a normal couple.
This
is
because it is life,
right? And don't feel bad if you don't like it, don't watch it. Essentially,
exactly.
But like I said, those are my top 5 hidden gems that were interspersed with Jay's. Jay, you got any more for us?
I got a quick 2, and I don't know if there is much. Well, I know one of them is a hidden gem, Lock and Key, which is on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
It's a supernatural TV show that has 1 season out right now, and I loved it because it was different. Mm-hmm. It kind of it was an original plot line that I think that hasn't really been explored. It was cerebral and it was also literally it was cerebral, and it was also mystical. So I mean, if those are some themes that you like in a TV show, I think check it out. It also has some great child acting, and I appreciate that. Yeah. And then lastly on my list, which it's become less of a hidden gem as more high-profile actors and celebrities have been on it, but Black Mirror.
I was just about to say Black
Mirror, man. I mean, like, when it came out, the first episode is just so jarring that you don't even know if you can continue watching it. I didn't know if I would have gone past that first episode. But as the seasons have gone on, I mean, the whole show, which is eerily reminiscent of, you know, from our parents' generation, The Twilight Zone, Quantum Leap. I mean, it's the coolest social commentary show out there right now because it like builds on these, you know,
it's like a realistic interpretation of like what would happen
in the most extreme situations. You know, like if in the future, in the near future, liking and, you know, social media grew to, you know, actually impacting your everyday social life,
your social status.
If you brought value based off of your ability to create a social following, which to some degree is true, but to the degree that it is on social media, it's not. Right. But like if it was to take into that level, like what would society look like? And I think that those are some of the coolest things. The episode about online virtual reality, which stars our boy from Captain America Winter Soldier, Wyatt Russell. I think that that's like one of the coolest episodes because like the twist that happens at the end of it is just so mind blowing. You're like, well, son of a biscuit, like what the heck? I mean, you just don't see it coming. I mean, dude, it's kind of it's a whole on that whole cerebral note, right? Like it's super mindfucky.
Yeah. Woo!
We can go on and on.
Yeah, but we appreciate you guys for listening to us. This one is going to be one of our longer episodes, but like I said, you guys like listening. We like talking,
and we hope y'all enjoyed it. Please give us some hidden gems that you think that we need to explore that we haven't gotten a chance to talk about on the podcast.
Definitely let us know on all of our social media platforms.
Tell us what some of your guilty pleasures are too.
Hey, we won't chastise you, I promise.
Never definitely, like I said, non-judge. It's a safe space.
It is. We are a safe space. But follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram at Blerd Survival Guide, on Twitter at Blerd Guide, on Facebook at Blerd Survival Guide, and you can email us at blerdsurvivalguide@gmail.com. You can follow our personals also at JaredBear3295,
at JDub0283,
and
it's just MRM for Miriam.
All right. Well, other than that, we will see you next week. This was episode 18.
And keep surviving, everybody.
Keep surviving, everybody. Listen to the theme song.
Two guys and a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
It's the Blerd Survival Guide. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.